name is Doretha Williams, formerly Johnson, and I am the granddaughter of Reverend James H. Lindsay. My mother's name was Thelma. She was James Lindsay's oldest child.
My name is Velma Daniels. My mother was Big Papa's baby daughter, Charlotte.
Donald Lindsay, and my mother was his daughter. Oh, Gladys.
Okay. And how many children did Poppa have altogether?
Papa had 7 children. 4 girls and 3 boys. Thelma, Gladys, Grace, Charlotte, Popeye, Leonard, and Lawrence. When I gave you that, I didn't give it to you in numerical order,
right.
the oldest on down.
You did it for the girls with the boys, the girls and the boys together.
Popeye's name was James Lindsay.
Tell us a little bit about Poppa.
Papa, from what I know and remember, lived in Washington. He was married to a woman named Eula. From that marriage, those 7 children came about. After Eula died, Papa, being the father that he was, continued to work to take care of his 7 children. Eventually, he came upon a lady named Carrie, and he married her, thinking that he had someone to help him take care of his 7 children. Carrie mistreated them so badly. I don't know. I imagine he got a divorce because, you know, back then young children didn't know too much about their parents or grandparents' business like that. But anyway, I know he came to Philadelphia with his 7 children.
So, out of all Moses' children, can you, say we know that Thelma, which is Big Mama, you are one of her children, and so on. So can you kind of name for each one of them their children, for those that had children? Like you were talking about the Clydes. Okay.
Aunt Gracie had Freddie, Harold, Joan, and Ronnie. She had 4.
Okay.
Aunt Charlotte had 2, which was Marlene and Velma.
Okay.
And Aunt Gladys, she had 1, which was Donald.
Which was Donald.
And my mother had the most. She had 6. Which was Willa Mae, Lorraine, Sylvester, Barbara, Tootsie, and myself.
And he preached. Oh, God, could he preach?
Very imposing person.
Wow.
Could he preach? Yes, he could.
Although back then, when people preach, that's how they scared you to death.
Yeah.
Because they would preach about brimstone and fire, which was all a part of it,
But it wasn't the totality of it, you know.
Okay.
they didn't know how to teach, so they just preached to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now ministers teach you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Because they go to school
Yeah.
and they learn.
Right.
They learn.
In fact,
most of that time
his briefcase.
was led by the Holy Spirit. It wasn't, you
Okay.
know, because they were so learned from a book, but Papa could read.
Okay.
So I knew he knew more about theology than a
He
lot
was an
of them.
intelligent man as well.
Well, he had been to some kind of school.
Seminary.
Because when I had them papers,
Yeah.
his briefcase, and when I went in the service, I don't know what happened to it. When I came back, half of his, because he had a bunch of sermons in there. I gave some of them to Vaughn.
Okay.
But he had a bunch of sermons in there, and people he went to sit to, would you say?
Theology school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
So he knew
and,
more.
And most of them were
More,
gone.
you know, he knew
Okay.
more about the Bible
Bible.
because most of them, because I was taught, most of them were led by the Holy Spirit because a lot of them couldn't
Okay.
read. So
Right.
you know,
Like-
where
like-
God just stepped in
Right.
to show them the way.
Wow.
You know?
I don't know when Papa came here, he was a minister already. But he was a minister and he had a church. And I remember this from a little girl. You know, he had a church because we went to his church for Sunday school. He was the minister, and my father, Moses Johnson, which they called him Brother Johnson, he was the deacon.
And another thing we remember, he was very meticulous about himself.
Was he?
Yes.
Was he a
Very-
dressing man?
Yes.
Wow.
And he looks. He didn't seem to be no taller than about 5'6".
He wasn't
Tall.
a big person, but he was very imposing.
Yeah.
Okay.
He had a crooked nose. His hair hung down here.
Okay.
He had,
You know?
he had beautiful hair.
Beautiful hair. Beautiful
fact-
wavy.
Did he?
Papa,
Wow.
Papa, if I'm not mistaken, was born in South Carolina. That's where he was originally from.
Okay.
And because, and I always say I would like to go back and how you check your ancestry.
That's what's being done now.
Because when he was born, when the people they were slaves,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure his daddy was a white man. He might be one of our presidents. One of our
Oh yeah.
presidents.
Well, I was thinking about
Okay.
him being more of an Indian because of the fact that he had the statue. He didn't have hair on his body.
Okay.
You know, he just had hair on his head. He used to
Yeah,
wear
a little
it
hair.
apart.
In the
It was
middle.
very little.
He had a
Little patch.
little hair right here in his chest.
But he
Okay.
wore his hair parted down the middle.
Uh-huh.
And like I said, it hung down. And it was wavy, but it was a mixed gray, beautiful mixed gray.
Okay.
He had a hook nose. And he
looked like Popeye.
looked.
Get outta here.
He was just an imposing,
Uncle Popeye.
yeah. He
Wow.
was just, he wasn't real tall, but his stature.
Okay.
You know, his name was his reputation.
He was a
for
big man as far as his
Yes.
demeanor.
Yes.
Get out of here. Like, who could we like look at now and say he was around that height? Like Calvin?
I say real talk. He was like Freddie,
Oh, okay. All right.
and his body stature, and he was maybe a little bit bigger inside, but he was Freddie.
Okay. So he wasn't really short like Calvin.
No,
I'm messing
no.
with you, Calvin.
Or like my daddy.
Okay. Well, Moses was short as well?
Moses was 5 feet. Thelma was 5 feet, 7 or 8.
Oh. Get out of here. So that's where my mom's height come from.
That's right.
Wow, I never
And
knew
she
that.
was a little bit taller than Daddy.
Are you serious?
That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow.
They used to call Mama and Daddy Mutt and Jeff.
Now, as Papa got older, who did he live with? Did he live by
Gladys.
himself?
Gladys.
Wow.
From the time I remember, he always lived with my mother.
Gladys.
Yeah.
The address to this house
Mm-hmm.
was the same address in Parish Street,
Okay.
3932. And we lived on the first floor. Pop had the front bedroom on the second floor.
Okay.
When we left there, went to Brown Street, there wasn't enough room, so he stayed with Aunt Gracie until we moved on Aspen Street.
And then he moved into Aspen Street. Get out of
And
here.
we moved to 38th Street, but that was just like a room here and a room here in the kitchen. There was 100 people in that apartment.
Man, and big boys galore.
It was 15 people in that apartment.
It was big. We slept in sheets.
Get out of here.
We
When you walked into the apartment,
Uh-huh.
the front windows, it was a bed in front of each window.
It was
At the
like,
foot of that
Wow.
like we slept in shifts.
At the foot of that bed was a couch. Me, Molly, and Bama slept there. Was like we call it a sofa bed.
But sometimes we wouldn't even go to bed. We'd let somebody else sleep, and then we cat nap and stuff during the day.
Now-
Get out of
Yeah,
here.
that's how we did it.
That couch was here.
Wow.
There was a chair right here. Somebody slept in that chair.
Now they were talking about, and I'm not sure whether, they Poppa wasn't living at this time. He could have very well, but they said it was a time where all y'all lived together, and it was like 15 people in the house.
Papa wasn't living.
He wasn't living
My
at that
daddy
time.
wasn't living.
You know the time I'm talking about, though. And they said sometimes y'all had to sleep in shifts.
This was my daddy. I was around 16, and we lived in an apartment,
Okay.
in a 3-room apartment. And I'm telling you, because I look at this place now, I ain't gonna put that in there. But a whole lot of people can live in the same place, and it don't have to be dirty. It was every bit of 15 or 16 of us. We was in this 3-room apartment, 738 North 38th Street, 38th and Aspen, before we moved to 3714, 37, we're at 20 Aspen. But I'm going to tell you who was there. Mama, because she was the one that got the place. Mama, Aunt Gladys, Uncle Lawrence, Boss Mac, Lorraine, Barbara, me, Donald, Marlene, Velma, Uncle Lon's girlfriend Sarah. I said Tootsie. I said Sylvester, didn't I?
I think so.
Tootsie. Yeah.
And it was a three-room apartment.
3-room apartment. The living room, the middle room was the bedroom, and then there was the kitchen. And thank God it was more so in the summertime, because we had 2 twin beds in the middle room,
That's what they were saying.
and then at night we had 2 mattresses in between them 2 twin beds on the floor. And in the living room they had a pull-out couch, and then the rest of it was so you slept on a mattress or whatever.
And all y'all,
We had a good time.
and despite all those people, it was okay.
It was okay, and the place was nice and clean. And they was doing my mother. Well, my mother had started some kind of little job like a home care person. 'Cause I remember her going out to work, but Aunt Gladys was home doing hair.
Wow. Is that generally like how it was? Just talking about the togetherness that y'all had.
That's the togetherness that they had.
He raised his children. He loved his children.
Okay.
He nourished his grandchildren. I remember him making doll houses. I could cry. He made the beautifulest doll house.
Handmade them?
Yeah.
Handmade them
I'm
out of popsicle sticks.
Wow.
That one he made for Putty.
Yep, he handmade them.
Well, we used to call it Jewtown. And you come up to 4th Street, and where y'all should live at, and walk
All back there was
go
Jews.
across the bridge called it Jewtown.
Jews.
Okay.
I used to walk over there with him, and he got orange crates.
And popsicle sticks.
The slats of wood might be about
Yeah.
that wide, but that long. And he made the shingles for the house out of that wood.
Get out of here.
I mean, he sit there
That house was
and
big enough
tediously
for you.
done it.
It was big enough for
Wow.
Yes.
He had a
He made more than one though.
He had a first floor and a second
Second
floor.
floor.
It was big enough. The one I remember was
So this wasn't no small little things. This was something that was.
If we had kept these
if Putty,
things,
the one Putty had.
if we had kept
If she
it,
had kept that, it'd be worth big money now.
it would be worth a
Get
lot
out.
of money.
Because that thing stood about this high.
Yes.
from popsicle sticks.
Popsicle sticks
What-
and baskets and do like the baskets. Yeah.
Wow, that's about 3-4 feet.
The one he made for Putty had a lot of wood in it because I remember him being in the
Yeah.
cellar cutting
Wow.
wood, carving.
Yeah.
'Cause he can carve.
So now, when we were just talking to Donald and Velma, one of the things that they mentioned was talking about Grandpapa being able to build these magnificent doll houses. And they talked about you, and actually Velma started to tear up because they talk about how great he was able to, to complete these things. They would be like 2 stories high. And said that he built you. Donald said the best one he ever created was for you.
You remember I told you.
You remember you said he was his favorite.
Okay. But Papa could build. And I really forgot that.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to go get orange crates.
Mm-hmm.
Oranges and apples came in wood things there. And he would send us to go get orange crates.
Mm-hmm.
And he would make doll houses. I think the first time that he did, and the last, first time that he tried is when he made my dollhouse, which was about this high.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Maybe about 3-4 feet. Yeah.
Yeah, it was about this high. And if you set it down here, it would go over to that Christmas tree.
Wow. Wow.
And he
That's
made a
about like
second
5 feet.
floor to it. Yeah, that was first and the last one I remember. He had a second floor to it. He had the windows, he had the doors, he had the steps. In fact, I remember one night, New Year's, because we stayed home and Daddy went to church. And when he came back, he talked to us and had prayer or whatever. And Barbara got inside the door of my house and went to sleep. That's how.
She could fit in it?
Not her whole complete, but she was the smallest.
Okay.
But yeah, she laid inside, and she was on the first floor. The part of her body out, her feet and legs, that was out. The rest of the part of the body was in the house. Wow. Yeah, wow. I forgot about that house.
Let me ask y'all this. If Poppa was alive today, what would you think would be his mindset of the state of the family as it is today?
My mind is that the family would have not gotten this far away from each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Period.
Okay.
Because he didn't play that.
Wow.
You know? Believe me, as long as he was living, you were gonna be together.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's what I'm telling you this is that he would have demanded. Being that most black families are matriarch.
Right.
But ours happened to be a patriarch.
Okay.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
It wasn't a woman with him to make those decisions. He made those decisions, and that's the way it was. That was the gospel. That's the way it was.
Right.
And the no nonsense about you going here and you not seeing your sister or blah blah this. No, your family.
Right.
I didn't raise you like that.
Right.
So no, it wouldn't have never. And some of the things that we did, we probably wouldn't have even done.
Okay.
Now, do you know that they always say that minister kids are the worst kids? Yeah, in some respect.
In some respect.
But they raised their kids the way they would have raised their kids the way he raised them.
Okay.
And,
You know what I mean?
And,
Regardless.
although you don't really think about it half the time, I guess, but I just might on TV on Steve Harvey's show the other day was saying something, and he was saying because it was a girl in there complaining about some guy that I guess she was going or something, and she was saying that fathers raise girls so they didn't know how a man's supposed to treat them. And she said, yeah, well, that's right, And I guess you don't think about it because that's the way you've been raised up all the time. So you don't know no other way.
Right.
But with Poppa, it was his way, or it wasn't gonna be done.
Yes,
Right.
And it wasn't like a dictatorship, because it wasn't no dictatorship. But
It's just the way it was.
it was like it was family. And what outsiders didn't matter.
And to the respect.
Mm-hmm.
He taught us to respect, but to be respected also.
Okay.
And I'm
So this is the $10,000 question. Talking about Poppa. If Poppa seen the state of the family as it is right now, what would you think his mindset would be?
He wouldn't have a mind
Wow.
because he would be devastated, and I have said so many times, thank God that my mother and my father was gone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as much as you miss them and everything, but there's some things that you are so glad that they didn't have to witness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's the same way with Poppa. Poppa couldn't have been able to stand that.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that a guy who has 7 heads of kids, who uprooted from another state to bring his family, to keep them all together, he had to be a certain type of individual, and family had to come first.
Right.
You know, it was a saying that they said, and I'm talking about Donald, and he said that Uncle Boss Man would say it, and after a while it just became reality. He said, "I would die for you. I would die for you.
I will die for you."
Yeah, and he said that's just how we were.
That's just how we were. And our younger generation in our family, they don't know anything about love or togetherness. It hurts me to my heart sometimes to see it. You know what I'm saying? Because we were always there for each other. We if you didn't have it and I did, you had it. And it was simple as that. It wasn't no, I did this for you, I did that for you, or no, you don't. No. We always had the togetherness. So we came up like that. And where it went wrong at, I don't know. I think where it went wrong is when you really started making more money and was able to do more, and so you got something up on your shoulders, or whatever you want to say. You know what I'm saying? But just like we say about people, if somebody don't have a place to stay, we always had another person, and I don't care how many people it was. If you didn't have something, and we came in and said, well, Mama or Aunt Gladys, because after Mama was Aunt Gladys was the head, she ain't got no place to stay. Can she stay here tonight though?
Right.
No questions asked.
Right.
You know. And we had a girl that we called our sister. Her name was Sylvia. I think Sylvester picked her up off of the corner of Union and Brown. And before you know it, she was staying with us. And she was Mama's daughter. We was her sister and brother. For wherever she came, you know? And Sylvia stayed with us a good while, a long time. And till she, I guess, got herself together, you know. And when I say that, I don't mean just a couple of months. Sylvia was there with us about 2 years or better, you know what I'm saying? And then she decided she was going to go on.
Wow.
But we always had room. Now,
All right. Now you were telling us about him passing away and how y'all took care of him during that process. Can you kind of explain that?
Okay, Papa only had one leg because
Okay.
he had one leg taken off because in doing his carpentry work down the cellar, he hit his leg with the axe, and he wouldn't go see about it. Mama took care of it the best she could, but he wouldn't go see about it, and gangrene set in.
Okay.
So they cut Papa's leg off. And he was on crutches. He still went around, and because I can't understand Donald not having that picture of Papa on his crutches and his overcoat and his hat and
I
everything.
see that picture in my head because I've
I
seen
see it too.
You
I've
seen
seen
it?
it.
Uh-huh. And so, he was there at Aunt Glass, and he wasn't doing good. I was now living with Willa May. I was out of school, was working. But I don't think I was working because I know when they called up and said Dr. Kushner said, Dr. Lipshaw said that he wouldn't be living no longer than Tuesday morning. It was a Monday. I'll never forget it. It was a Monday night. And he said he wouldn't live till Tuesday morning. So I said, okay, woman, I said, I have to go. She said, why, what's wrong? I said, told about Papa. I said, and they said that my grandfather wasn't going to live till Tuesday morning. I says, and I have to go down there and make them out of a liar because my grandfather's going to live. And I packed a little bag. And I said, I don't know when I'll be back. So I went down there. And that same night, Lorraine was pregnant with Henrietta. And she came down too. See, as soon as somebody said one was sick, since Mama was no longer living, because Mama was the doctor, you know, and so then we had to take over. I mean, Lorraine took over, and so we went down there, and Papa had a coating on his tongue about this thick, and it was that dark. Yeah, he had teeth. But we went there and we went there. Lorraine did, I did some of it. We took the stuff off the roof of his mouth and we took that coating all off his tongue. We washed him up, we did whatever we had to do, and fed him and everything. When 6 or 7 o'clock Tuesday morning came, I said, I told you. I wasn't going to let my grandfather die. The doctor didn't know what he was talking about. Now, Lorraine came down every day. She lived at 39th and Wallace. She came down every day, and between her and I, we took care of Papa. Boss man, drinking, he can't go in there. Uncle Lon couldn't go in there. Nobody could go in to see Papa.
Because they didn't want to see him like that. Is that reason? Or
Yes. And so Tuesday Lorraine was down with, but every time Lorraine came in the room, and Papa was very sick, he would do like this to her. He would hug her real tight, and then he would push her away. I said, Papa, I ain't going nowhere. I said, she sure? I said, I ain't going. I did not leave that room.
why would you think he was pushing her away?
I tell you, he was trying, and he was telling her something.
He was trying to tell you it's okay?
And he was trying to tell her to move, to get out the room,
Okay.
to go, you know. But we don't know. We know he kept pushing her away, but he would hug her, and he was trying his best to say something. So, here come Friday. Now, you know I'm doing good. Here come Friday. It's pouring down rain. Now, understand, we don't have no gas now. We just got electric. Because Aunt Gladys is over Miss Julia's house doing hair. And I had to heat the water on the oil burner that we had. But anyway, I was worried about Lorraine, took about the ring and everything, and Donald came in from school. And I said, oh, good. I said, Donald, I got to go see about Lorraine. Haven't seen her all day. And I mean, I ran from 37th and Aspen to 39th and Wallace, trying not to get soaking wet, going to see about Lorraine. When I walked in there, she said, ooh. I said, yeah, I just came up here to see about you, baby, see how you doing and how you feel. And she was saying she was okay, but being that it was raining, so she couldn't bring the other children and her come out too, you know, like that. So I said, okay. I said, because I'm going back and get Papa back. But before I left, I said, Papa, I said, I'm going to see about Lorraine. I says, and when I come back, I'm going to give you a hot bath, I'm going to change your pajamas and everything, and I'm going to make you real comfortable. Okay. So I ran out there and went to see about Lorraine, and I ran all the way back. And ran upstairs and saying, come on, you know, I'm going to get the hot water and give Papa a bath. I said, Papa, Papa is dead. He died just like, see, because both of us was out the room. And he kept pushing, and knowing that she was pregnant, he kept pushing Lorraine away, telling her to go away, you know what I mean? Because he didn't want to die. He didn't, and I truly, when I went down there that Monday, I did not leave that room until Friday, when I went out there to see Lorraine.
Wow, and just that quick, you went to go check on her.
He died. I mean,
He left.
if I was going 15 minutes, because I ran, I was good. I was a good runner at that time.
And he was waiting for y'all to leave.
He was waiting for us to leave, and he just died.
Wow. Was that really hard for everybody once he left?
Sure. And I told Don, go tell your mother that Papa's dead. And he was so bewildered and befuddled, he didn't know what to do. And so his sons and everybody, they kind of, because they couldn't stand to see Papa sick or whatever. Turn it off a minute.